Good morning, guys. Andrew at Tabletop Farms. Well, I'm running a little bit behind. It's Saturday morning here and heading into my day job. And been getting a lot of questions about making an income off the farm. And while I could probably make a go of it, in fact, I know I could, not having a day job, and we're working on a few things. I'll talk about that later. I'm not sure who all watches the show, but we have some things happening in the works. But back to the topic, I reckon. We choose, or I choose at this point, to continue to leave the farm every day, 6 days a week, and go work outside, off the farm. The reason I choose to do that is I'm using my energy capital and my time capital rather than borrowing capital from someone else. It's a slower process. I could go out and borrow from the bank, find investors, but I owe somebody. And as Tag would say, I'm a slave at that point to them. And I can choose to not go in today, not go in tomorrow, and I would not be a slave to my day job. So I choose to do it that way, and to heavily invest back into the farm. Which brings me up to another point. And that point really is, and I'm not sure if this video is even going to make it, but I get these thoughts throughout the day, and when it comes down to making a video, I lose them. I lose the thoughts. If you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing, I reckon. My brain works, some would say, at 100 miles an hour. And I'm always doing more than what I probably should. My brain's going way too fast, and if I don't use it, if I don't get it out, then lots of times it just gets thrown out the side or thrown in the back or whatever it may be. So here I am recording this. But where I was going with this is income off the farm. Well, a large majority, well, I won't say that. We talk to a lot of homesteaders, and I've struggled with, what are we? What is Tabletop Farms? What is my family? And we don't really fit into the homesteading group, per se, as by definition, and from what definitions I've got. So I kind of thought, well, are we a farmstead? What is a farmstead? But we've been doing a lot of thinking on this. I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, and we are a farm that homesteads. Now, let me tell you the difference. And I am obviously driving down the road, so I won't be looking at you at the camera very often, and I apologize for that. When I get home, it's dark. I'm feeding cows. I'm doing my chores, and generally we're eating about 8 o'clock at night, so on. So I really apologize. It's been way too long since I put a video out. We're getting close to winter solstice here, and the day lengths will get starting in longer, and I'll start being able to get some time. And I am going to be doing some videos here at night coming up real soon. We are getting lettuce planted in flats. I've got to get a high tunnel put up. Not a high tunnel, but a greenhouse. We've got a small greenhouse, which is not large enough. We're going to be doing lots of videos on that, lots of projects on that, because I've got a wood barrel stove kit that we're going to try on that. I've been doing some research on YouTube with that. I'm going to call some guys out on that, and not call them out, but there's some guys out there that have done some phenomenal jobs, and some of these videos are 10 years old, and I don't know that they're even still on YouTube or what's going on, but they have done the legwork, and I fully appreciate that, and I want them to get full credit for that. So, but going back to the homestead, farmstead, farm concept, and I've really thought about this, and this is where people have to kind of make a decision on what they want to do. And like I said, I've been getting a lot of questions on how to make an income off of the homestead, and I've kind of come up with the definition, and I'm not sure, I've pulled bits and parts of this off of other individuals. This is not my original idea by any means. Homestead. Really, a homestead is a self-sustaining, I don't even like the word sustaining, but you grow your own food. You grow enough food for your family. You're growing 90%, 80% of your own food. You have your water. You're really self-sufficient, and that's kind of what you are. And that's really what I would call a homestead. Now, homesteaders can have businesses, don't get me wrong, but your business is not off the farm. I would, John down at SOE, amazing businessman. I would call John a homesteader with a business. That's what I probably would call John. A farmstead. A farmstead is somebody that is a homesteader that is selling extras when they have it. And I guess this could even go for cutting wood, or you cut wood and you have extra wood that you're gonna just go ahead and cut a little extra. And you're not really doing it for a business, but you're making some income. And that's really kind of the farmstead idea. It's not really a consistent source of income necessarily, or it could be, but it's supplemental, And then you have farms, and I think that's what we are now. We can make a living off the farm. Again, I choose to go and work 6 days a week off the farm, to invest into the farm, to get more resources, make things nicer, and grow the business, grow the farm. And it's a security blanket in that sense, that I can grow that, and I'm not relying on what the farm has or is bringing in that sense. So I can kind of double down and accelerate this process in my mind. And so that's what we are. And we do the homestead thing because that's what we choose to do. We choose to be self-sufficient, but we have enough resources on the farm that's how we make. Now, there's lots and lots of ways to make income off the farm. Off the farm, on the farm, on the farm. There's lots of ways to make income on the farm. So I'm going to be doing some talking with a few other homesteads. I think we're going to do some interviews on how to make income off the farm, how we particularly do. I have lots of ideas on how to. I have lots of value-adding ideas. That's how we started Tabletop Farm. That's why we started Tabletop Farm. Tabletop Farm was built in the sense that we could build a business, an enterprise in the business, say. And what would happen then, I'm going to stop here for a second. What would happen then is we'd build a business, let's just say broiler chickens, and we'd build a big enough customer base that we could then hire or find somebody that was interested in raising broiler chickens, and they could either do it on our land and we'd work out a deal on that, or they'd have their own land and they could expand on it and we'd be able to have more chickens and be able to do that, but they'd be able to start their own business. Same thing with laying hens, is to build an enterprise off of laying hens that's large enough that somebody can come in and manage that, and they'd be under the umbrella of Tabletop, but we'd be able to employ or get other families' businesses started within Tabletop. That's how we kind of started the idea. that has been a low, slow grind. I'm not giving up hope on all that, but I'm pretty happy where tabletop is heading. We've got lots of things in the works, and really excited about that. So if you have any questions, suggestions, I'd love to reach out and let's talk about this business thing, because when it comes down to it, what I find hard is we can all homestead, we can all be self-reliant, which is a good thing, but we are a small minority in this world, and no matter what happens or how things happen, people are going to be forced, I think, to change some habits, but they're not going to change their habits that much. People are still going to want to go to the grocery store. People are still going to want to come and buy from the farm. They're still going to want to do that stuff, because if we're the only ones that have food, that grow food, there's huge business opportunities coming, I think, and humanitarian things coming, that a farm is going to be able to make a living again. Small farms are going to be able to make a living again. And I think we need to increase the amount of small farms that there are out there. And so that's really another passion of what I do, is to be able to teach. And because when it comes down to it, it's all about the soil. All about the soil. And if we can take care of the soil, we can grow anything. We can grow everything. So it's really learning the soil and then learning the business, because down the road, I said homesteading is great, and there's nothing wrong with just homesteading. There's more need out there than what homesteads are going to be able to do, and so I think we need to expand some of these things, and that's what I'm excited about. That it's kind of like what Tag has done with freesteading, and he has given that tool out to homesteaders, to farms, to like-minded individuals, to be able to share things. And I think that's where really I want to head with more businesses within the homestead realm, and be able to capitalize on that. And I think there's a lot of us that can do that, because it's not just farming. It's not just growing the plants. It's not just growing the meat. It's not. Those things have to be processed. You have to have a butcher. You have to have. It's the butcher, the candlestick maker, the value added to all of this. And so, there's just like you go to your store and buy a product, buy a can of vegetables. Well, I can sell you the vegetables, but I can also give that vegetable to somebody else. They can can it, and then it can be sold. And so there's all this stuff, because at the end of the day, none of us have enough time to do it all. None of us. And that's where I want to be able to pool more together, and we can work all together and build businesses and build community. It's not really business, it's community. It goes back to community again. Again, it goes back to the whole thing of, you're an electrician, I need an electrician, so I'm going to use you as my electrician, and I grow food, I'm a farmer, that's where you're going to get your food from. No different than that. So it's just building that, and it's building upon the community building. So we're excited about that. I've been rambling on here. I'm getting late here, so I'm going to jump off of here. Again, hit the like button, subscribe if this is something that you're liking, so I can, I'll know if you like my ranting. But we appreciate everybody that's been following us. Like I said, it's been kind of tough to get videos out, but I'm still here. I'm still going to be producing the videos, so we thank you, and I'm going to head off to work. So until next time, pull up a chair and welcome to Tabletop Farms.